Welcome to this part 2 of the Ultrabeat Oaklands College tutorial. In the first part of this session we looked at the Ultrabeat drum synth, we looked at various layering samples inside it, the oscillators, the sequence of view, how to pan, change the gain and all that kind of stuff. But if you remember right at the beginning where we created our Ultrabeat, so we made a software instrument and went to this input here. We selected the Ultrabeat drum synth, but we chose the multi-output. Now, we did that for a reason, because if you go inside here where you've got your kick, what you can do is actually send it out through various different channels, and then you can actually mix them and edit them individually, as opposed to mixing this whole sort of stereo mix. Instead of mixing that whole stereo mix, you might want to treat the hi-hat differently to the snare or the kick drum. So what you can do is actually sort of group them. So where it says main here, if you remember, we had the gain here, the sequence tell us we've got a sequence on that part. Yeah, we've got mute, solo, pan, and main. Now the main output is 1 and 2. So if you change that, I think the kick generally should go out of 17 here because it's mono. You don't want it going out of the stereo field. So if you go to 17, what else have we got on here? We've got a hi-hat. Now I guess we can kind of make that maybe mono as well. Metallic, I have no idea what that sounds like. Okay, I suppose we could create, with these sound effect type things, maybe we should put them in 3 and 4 and try and put them on more of a stereo field. You see, then we can start actually getting some sort of stereo field. Now the blip's already been panned. And we can pan the whoosh as well. Yeah, so now we've got on 17, going out on the instrument 17, we've got the kick because it's in mono, yeah, and I put the hi-hats, okay, the flange hat has gone out on 18, mono as well, and then the others have created a stereo field. Similarly, in a normal sort of looking kit, you'd have kick coming out, and 17, 18 would be maybe a snare, yeah, and then you'd have your cymbals or your toms, which you'd pan around in a nice wide panning environment. You probably put them on 3 and 4 and pan them appropriately in here. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is actually just close that, okay, and go into the mixer window. Now what you need to do is press this little plus button here. To get your mixer window up, press Apple II. That's the best way to do it. Okay. And you can then just press that plus button. And it will create a new auxiliary channel for you. Okay, now I'm going to create 2 mono tracks. We've got the kick and that hi-hat as well. So create, and I need a stereo one as well. Okay, for those sound effects. Okay, now what you need to do is select the input. So instead of input 1, where it has to be is on the instrument. You go down to the, you have to hold click down here, and then it brings up this menu. Then you've got instrument 1, so the Ultrabeat output 17 is going into this auxiliary channel now. You can turn that up, press Alt and click, and it'll go right up to the top. Okay, and same again, but we want 18 this time, and the effects are going to go on 3 and 4. That's what I set it to. So let's just Alt click on these to bring them up as well, so you can hear them. I'm going to label them as well. Kick, hat, and effects. Yeah. Now you see, instead of them being in different tracks, they're actually sort of attached to this instrument track, which is quite nice. So even if you've got loads of different tracks in your mix, when you create a new auxiliary track, it always comes right over the end here. But as soon as you tell it that it's from Ultrabeat 17, it will go and join it right next to where it should be. So that's quite nice. So let's just listen to that. We made that little loop, didn't we, the moment that we brought it through. So let's just bring that back in. Okay. And let's bring out 2. Okay. Now you can see we've got a few sounds coming out stereo here for some reason still that we haven't assigned. turn it down a bit. But you can see now, instead of it all coming out of one track, you've got a kick, your hat here, and your effects. So you can actually pan your hi-hat here in your stereo mix a bit to make up for the fact that this is coming out really far left. Yeah, and let's turn them all down a bit because it's going to distort otherwise. Okay, there we go. Now what you can do is you can apply your EQ on your kick, yeah. So let's do a bit of attack as well. Okay, and your hi-hats as well, but then you could put them maybe through a reverb on this upper bus. Don't know why I did that in mono, but there we are. And turn that up. Okay, so now you've got this separate mix on your Ultrabeat. So just to recap, we created the Ultrabeat through here on your input, multi-output. Okay, is what you've selected on the Ultrabeat. You've gone inside, you've got your various different sounds here. You can edit them each individually. So you've got your 3 oscillators. You can load in samples on this one at the bottom if you change between here. You've got loads of on-off switches. You've got a sequencer with inside it as well. Turn full view on to do that. You can start programming your own beats by just making edits. You can just click on and off. You can do that here. You've got velocity, okay, of each shot here, and the length, duration of each shot as well. You can change, and that's about it. Don't forget, when you've done your nice sequence, you can drag your pattern in from there. You've got your pattern there. You can drag that in, but then to play, I would turn that sequencer off. Otherwise it's just going to play all the time logic. Well, that's done for me now, and I hope to see you for another tutorial again soon. Cheers, bye.